We're answering the question, should you consume fermented foods while on a cleanse? Here we are, it is the beginning of spring, although I know it doesn't feel like it. It's -5 out here in Calgary, it's still pretty white, but hey, come on, that's Calgary, we know that, we're used to that. Spring is on its way, we're feeling it, it's coming regardless of a few more snowfalls, dare I say. So many of us like to jump on with that momentum of spring, get into spring cleansing, do cleanses, and I get the question, can I consume fermented foods during a cleanse? Is it a good idea? And the answer is, well, depends on the cleanse, right? Depends on your goals and your objectives. A lot of us that get into cleanses, there are specific guidelines, recommendations for it. The Wild Rose Herbal Detox that Dr. Terry Willard created as an example, Master Cleanse, I mean, you name it, juicing, fasting, there's all different types out there. So really, whatever you've chosen, take it as your lead. However, I'm gonna share my opinion, my view on maybe some of the best fermented foods that you can add in if it'll fit with your specific cleanse and circumstance. So at any time, if you got a question, you want to just pop it down in the comments below, do that, and I'll try and answer that as well. So my first recommendation with cleanses, very oftentimes we are looking to cut out things like sugar, cut out alcohol. So when we talk about fermented foods, obviously I'm assuming, beer, wine, mead, these kinds of things are off, so no alcohol, no ferments in that form. However, kombucha, right? So if you're making your own sodas at home, this one here is a hibiscus, rose, and goji soda. Very often, sometimes those herbs sound really great, can be a part of your cleanse. However, I'm going to suggest maybe not these ones because they're a ferment that has a sugar as the base. And very oftentimes when we're cleansing, we want to remove the sugars out. We want to reset the body, remove the sugars, and kombucha, jun, water kefir, these types of ferments, I'd really recommend removing those while you're doing your cleanse. Again, it's only a short period of time. There's probably lots else you're cutting out. So I would remove those and I'd focus more on vegetable ferments as well as maybe possibly bean ferments. So I'm also going to include in there fermented foods from grains as well. Obviously bread, sourdough, that kind of thing. Pretty obvious. That would likely be included as a no-go in your cleanse. So anything grain-based as well as sugar-based. So kombuchas, water kefirs, those kinds of things, put them on hold because there is very oftentimes a lot of sugar still left in them. And going about our day-to-day throughout a year, different times of the week, the month, etc., not a big deal depending on where your body's at. If you've got great health and vitality, having a little bit of sugar, in my mind, is not a big deal, especially in the form of a delicious fermented soda. It's an upgrade for a lot of people on pops. It can help with digestion. It's a great way to get probiotics in and increase digestion through enzymes. However, in the realm of a cleanse, we're going to pause on that and we won't go there for this duration, for that time. Now, what could be really fantastic are those vegetable-based ferments. So, things like your sauerkraut, right? Here I've got the amazing Alberta Harvest kimchi that we created at the Light Cellar. We might even be sold out of this, but it was amazing because it's got lots of different vegetables, a diversity, things like Napa cabbage, things like garlic, leeks, ginger, a lot of these vegetables, daikon radish. If you can find a vegetable ferment like that with kraut, I mean, gosh, these things are really great cleansing agents in themselves, and to have it in that fermented form can be fantastic as well. Another one I'll recommend is beet kvass. I know the camera here, the lighting's not so good. Anyways, beet kvass, this is essentially almost similar to kraut in that it's a lacto ferment. So these good bacteria, lactobacillus, you've heard all those names before of certain bacteria, they ferment the vegetables and there's an acidification that's happened. So even though a lot of cleanses focus on, okay, you want only alkaline foods, it's alkaline forming, kind of like lemon is as well. So It's going to taste sour, almost like it'll be a little bit like vinegar, but even a vinegar as well, we know, can be alkaline forming in the body, just like lemon is. And that could be amazing, especially something like beets, right? Really good for the liver, really good for that whole detoxification process. So if that's something you want to choose, go for it. It could be pickle juice, could be kraut juice. Actually, here I love to share this story. Anybody that knows Denis Manzer, who works at the shop, he was doing a cleanse a couple of years ago. He's doing the Master Cleanse. Anyone ever heard of that? This is the whole lemon juice, maple syrup, cayenne, and you're drinking that for 10 days. Not suggesting that's the best cleanse ever, but it's out there. A lot of people know it. I've seen a lot of people get good results going on it for a week, even a month. So Denis was doing it, and it has this ritual in the morning where you do a saltwater cleanse. And it's a flush, basically. So you get up in the morning, you prepare this like salt brine, the salt water, and you drink it, and you don't want to go anywhere for about an hour, because within 10, 15 minutes, it's like you're going straight to the bathroom, and it's this flush of your intestinal system. And that's part of the Master Cleanse. So Denis had this idea, I'm going to do the Ascended Master Cleanse. And so he goes ahead and does the Ascended Master Cleanse. What does that mean? Well, it meant he actually got kraut juice, pickle brine that's full of probiotics. It has that high level of salt. So drinking, and the goal is you drink about a quart of this salt water. So he was drinking a quart of pickle juice, kraut juice. That was his salt water flush for his Ascended Master Cleanse. So it had the same effect of flushing his intestinal system, but he was getting all these good electrolytes and probiotics from the kraut water as well. So hey, who knows? Maybe you want to try that. I'm sure Denis will be able to share more of his experience doing that a couple of years ago. So one thing you do want to be careful of, sometimes actually people have a histamine intolerance, right? A histamine is part of this immune interaction. It could be where you get itchiness, redness, different symptoms can appear. And in fact, fermented foods, even the sauerkraut and like pickles, when they're just done in this way, can have histamines in it. So if that's an issue of yours, and again, you're doing a cleanse, then I would recommend not doing the ferments that way. So then what are you left with, right? So if we're not doing the kombucha, the water kefir, the scobies, if they're completely off, anything sugar-based, and even you want to remove sauerkraut, pickles, even the beet kvass, that would fall into that as being high histamine containing. Remove that during your cleanse. So next, I would recommend even things like miso, right? Chickpea miso. I believe alkaline forming in the body, and that is usually typically beans or grains that have been fermented, and it makes a wonderful, just gentle broth that can be very nourishing, very deeply nourishing, but it's still on that liquid spectrum, and again, alkaline forming in as well. So that could be a part of your cleanse, and that's a great one to add in that wouldn't have those histamines and would allow you to still keep those bacteria in there and keep, because what they'll do is consuming fermented foods, the right ones, getting those living bacteria will help with the cleanse, getting into your digestive system. So a little bit of miso broth can be really fantastic. So main thing you want to look for is an unpasteurized, so it goes about there. No, I'm just joking. Not pasteurized miso, so you have those living probiotics, so you can get the benefit of them. Just a little bit of broth, or I'd even recommend like a nettle tea, something like that, where you're getting herbal benefits as the base instead of just water. Mix in your miso, and you make a wonderful, delicious, gentle broth that I think can add into just about any cleanse. And if you're doing like a serious full-on fast, then a little miso broth is actually a perfect way to break it, transitioning back into food really gently. There's that saying, any fool can fast, but only a wise man knows how to break it. I don't know about you, but I've experienced that, where it's like you have all this great willpower and you're doing your fast, and then that first little bit of like window opens where you're gonna have some food, and next thing you know, just like, oh, I overdid it. So we want to gently ease back into food if you're doing a fast, and chickpea miso or any other type of miso can be really fantastic for that. It's nice, it's gentle, bringing that food element back in, getting your digestive system back in and ready for solids again. So there we have it. You know, obviously there's a full spectrum and there's no kind of one solid answer, but just to kind of recap, of course, I'm assuming your cleanse does not include fermented foods like beer, wine, mead, those kinds of things. Obviously probably not bread. So those are off the table. Kombucha, water, kefir, jun, these fermented beverages that have sugar as their base, I'd highly recommend removing those, not including those in your cleanse. If you want to explore kraut, fermented foods like pickles, sauerkraut, beet kvass, those can be fantastic. And if you're going even further still, removing those, then a little bit of miso, even things like tempeh can be good to add into your cleanse. So depending what you're doing, hope that helps you if you are venturing into the cleansing time this spring season. All the best to you. Enjoy that. Love your body, and include a little bit of ferments. You know, whatever's going to work for you. So thanks for tuning in. If you've got any other questions, just post them down below. And thanks for watching.